We're looking at financial center. The three of us, 2 broken windows. Oh, God!
Most 911 calls end with help arriving, but some capture something no one was prepared to hear. A man trapped in a collapsing tower. A mother found murdered. A voice in the woods begging for help before vanishing forever. These aren't horror stories. These are real emergency calls, raw moments of fear, confusion, and silence. And tonight, you'll hear 3 of the most haunting ones ever recorded. Let's begin with a call made from the 105th floor, just seconds before the unthinkable happened. It was the morning of September 11th, 2001. Kevin Cosgrove, a 46-year-old business executive and father of 3, was working in his office on the 105th floor of the South Tower of the World Trade Center. When the first plane hit the North Tower, people were confused. But after the second impact, right into Kevin's tower, panic spread. Smoke started pouring in. The building was shaking. Kevin called 911. His voice came through calm, but only for a moment.
Anybody else want to try in here? We're young men, we're not ready to die. How the hell are you going to get my ass down?
We're not ready to die, but it's getting bad, really bad. He told the dispatcher where he was, trapped with 2 others. The line stayed open as he tried to stay strong.
I know you do, but it doesn't seem like it. You got lots of people up here. I understand. I know you got a lot in the building up on the top.
You could hear the fear growing in his voice. He was coughing, struggling to breathe. But he wasn't crying. He wasn't yelling. He was holding on. Then, suddenly, his tone changed.
Hello? Hello? We're looking at financial center. The 3 of us, 2 broken windows. Oh, God!
Oh, God. Oh, there's a loud crashing sound. A deep, rumbling roar. The sound of everything giving way. And then, nothing. The line went dead. Kevin's building had just collapsed. He never made it out. That 911 call, with Kevin's final words, became one of the most heartbreaking pieces of audio from that day. It was even played during the 9/11 commission hearings in Washington, not just to show what happened, but to remind people that these were real voices, real lives, real fear. Kevin's wife later said she never wanted the world to hear that call, but in a way, it made sure he was never forgotten. That call captured the exact moment a building and a life fell. But this next one, it captured a murder planned by someone no one ever expected, her own daughter. It started with a Facebook post, short, violent, and chilling. That bitch is dead. Friends of Dee Dee Blanchard froze. Was it a sick joke? A hack? It couldn't be real. Dee Dee was doing the single mother to her frail, wheelchair-bound daughter, Gypsy Rose. She was a familiar face in the community. Sweet, soft-spoken, always fundraising, always at the hospital. Gypsy was supposedly terminally ill, battling leukemia, muscular dystrophy, epilepsy, even needing a feeding tube. Everyone admired Dee Dee's strength and pitied Gypsy's suffering. But now, this post, something was wrong. Neighbor Kim Blanchard couldn't ignore it. She walked over to their pink house. Dee Dee's car was parked out front, but no one answered the door. The house was dark, eerily quiet. Gypsy's wheelchair, always by her side, was sitting inside. That's when Kim climbed through a window. What she found made her blood run cold. Dee Dee was dead, face down in bed, stab wounds everywhere. Kim's 911 call is the kind that haunts you. I think Dee Dee's dead, and Gypsy, she's gone. Her wheelchair's here. She can't go anywhere without it. You can hear the terror in her voice. Not screaming, but trembling. The kind of fear that makes you whisper, like something might hear you. The dispatcher tries to stay calm, but even they sound shaken. No signs of forced entry. The medicine cabinet untouched. The feeding supplies still hooked up. It didn't make sense. She didn't just disappear, Kim says. She couldn't. But then she mentions the Facebook post again. That one twisted sentence, posted from Dee Dee's own account. And suddenly, this isn't just a murder, it's a mystery. Police arrive, and the call ends. But what followed unraveled one of the most disturbing cases in modern history, because Gypsy Rose wasn't sick. She could walk. She could eat solid food. She'd never had cancer. The feeding tube? Unnecessary. The wheelchair? A prop. For years, Dee Dee had forced her daughter to fake dozens of illnesses, all for attention, sympathy, and money. It was man-chosen by proxy, a prison made of pills, doctor visits, and lies. And Gypsy, she'd had enough. She met a man online, a boyfriend, a savior. And together, they planned Dee Dee's murder. That Facebook post, it wasn't a hack, it was Gypsy. Finally speaking freely for the first time in her life, in the most twisted way imaginable. She's now out of prison. He's not. And the world is still stunned by how deep the lie went. One 911 call opened the door. The next one, it would come from someone who swore he was being hunted by something not human. On the night of August 8th, 2013, 26-year-old Brandon Lawson left his home in San Angelo, Texas, after an argument with his girlfriend. It was late, around 11:50 p.m., and he told her he was going to his father's house, about 3 hours away. He never made it. Around 12:30 a.m., Brandon called his brother Kyle. His truck had run out of gas on a remote stretch of Highway 277, just outside the small town of Bronte. Kyle offered him gas, and the two agreed to meet at the truck. But before Kyle arrived, Brandon made another call, this time to 911. And what he said still haunts people to this day. The call came in at 12:50 a.m. Brandon's voice was fast, shaky, and hard to understand, but pieces of it are clear.
911 emergency.
Yes, I'm in the middle of the field. The safe, we just pushed some guys over. Right here going towards Abilene on both sides. My truck ran out of gas. There's one car here. Got chased to the woods. Please hurry.
Okay, now run that by me.
One more. Not talking to him.
Yes, I'm in the middle of a field, he says, almost out of breath. My truck ran out of gas. There's one car here. The guy's chasing me into the woods. Please hurry. Then the call gets stranger. I need cops. I'm not talking to him. I accidentally ran into him. Who was them? What car was he talking about? Why was he running? The 911 operator tries to keep him on the line, asking him to stay calm. But Brandon keeps talking, his words slurring and cutting in and out. There'll be one guy going toward Abilene, and there's another guy in the woods. Please hurry. Then the call ends.
I actually ran into him.
Ah, you ran into him. Okay.
Got the first guy.
Do you need an ambulance?
Yeah, no, I need the cops.
Okay. Is anybody hurt?
When Kyle arrived a few minutes later, he found Brandon's truck, but no sign of Brandon. He waited with a sheriff's deputy who also showed up, thinking Brandon would walk out of the woods any minute, but he didn't. They searched the area, shouting his name, driving around, calling his phone. Nothing. No answer, no footsteps, just an empty road, a dead phone, and a strange, broken 911 call. In the days that followed, searches continued. Helicopters, tracking dogs, volunteers, still nothing. It was like Brandon had vanished into thin air. Over time, people began to speculate. Was he hallucinating? Was he running from police? Was it drugs? Or was he really being chased by someone out there in the dark? His family refused to give up. For years, they searched the area where he disappeared. And finally, in February 2022, 9 years later, human remains were found in a field less than a mile from where his truck had been. The remains were confirmed to be Brandon Lawson. But the mystery didn't die with that discovery, because that 911 call still doesn't make sense. His words, the panic, the way he said, "We're not talking to him." What did it mean? Who was out there with him? And why was he bleeding? No one knows for sure. The audio's real. The call was made. And whatever Brandon saw that night, it terrified him enough to flee into the darkness, never to be seen alive again. 3 voices, 3 tragedies, and 3 calls that prove sometimes the scariest stories aren't fiction. They're real and they're recorded. If this episode shook you, there's more where that came from. Subscribe for more stories that aren't just strange, they're true. Because sometimes the scariest thing is knowing it actually happened. See you in the next one. Stay safe. Stay curious.